So I wanted to wish everybody a happy spring, and for us here in Maine, it's the very early beginning of spring, and I'm so happy today to be planting the first seeds, which are from the Heartsease Pansy, Viola tricolor. This is a beautiful little photograph of what the little tiny beautiful flowers look like, and I'm planting the Heartsease Pansy today because on the biodynamic planting calendar, today is a flower day, which means that the moon, who is always moving through the 12 different zodiac constellations, the moon actually has been an air sign. And so it's actually been in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And so when the moon in all these beautiful constellations is moving through an air sign, that's the sign that supports the growth of flowers. So today we are with an Aquarius moon. So something else that I love to do here is that we actually take a special basket, and it's almost like we make a little altar with our seeds that we're going to be planting. So here is the Heartsease Pansy seeds from Strictly Medicinal Seed Company. They are out in Oregon, and they have lots of certified organic medicinal herb seeds. The other people that we buy a lot of herb seeds from is Turtle Tree Seeds, and they are a biodynamic seed company in New York State. So what I'm going to do with the beautiful Heartsease Pansy is I have moistened these pots with, we use a really good quality organic soil mix from Vermont. It's called Vermont Compost Company, and I really like their compost, their potting soil. And then what I do is in the fall, we bag up lots of our own biodynamic compost, and we bring the bags of compost into our hoop house, and we mix 25% of our compost with 75% of Vermont compost, their potting soil. So this potting soil is full of a lot of really good energy that is going to help to germinate the seeds. So something that I wanted to say about seeds is that every seed has different requirements, and the Heartsease Pansy seeds, they will reseed themselves out in your garden if they're happy where they are. And my observation of Heartsease Pansy is they're actually quite good sized seeds. They prefer to be scattered just lightly. I'm going to scatter these seeds. They don't want to be covered with soil. So that's why the potting soil is nice and moist. And I'm just going to scatter in some of these seeds, and I'm just going to just gently, what I do is I just gently kind of tamp them in. And then I will take a very fine mister on my watering wand, and I just gently water them in, and I will keep them moist. Now Heartsease Pansy really likes to be where it's a little bit cooler. So what I do is I keep them moist, and I keep them underneath the benches in my hoop house on the ground. So it's a little bit cooler for them on the ground. So that's how I start these, and they need to be, you need to keep them moist. And so if you're starting some seeds in your house, you might want to buy just like a, what do you call it, like a little mister bottle that you can just keep with just gently warm water, and then you just keep your seeds that you've tamped in, like Heartsease Pansy. Chamomile is another seed. You just keep them moistened. So you don't want to overwater them, you don't want to underwater them, you just want to keep them gently moistened. And Heartsease Pansy, as I said, wants to be where it's a little bit cooler, which is why if it's happy in the garden, Heartsease Pansy is one of the first plants that will show itself back up again. For us here, sort of in May, they'll start to really come up. But they love to be where the soil's a little bit more clay and damp, and they really flourish when it's a little bit cooler. So I wanted to say I I just love, I love this flower. All the variations of colors of Heartsease Pansy. And this is a flowering plant that will grow maybe about this tall, even shorter in some places where it's hotter and less moisture, but they will grow up. And many of you know that the flowers are edible. They're beautiful to put on our spring salads, and then again in our fall salads when the fall flush comes back up. The whole plant, the leaf, the flower, and the stem are ones that I like to cut, and I love to make fresh herbal tea. There is salicylic acid in this plant, so when you make a fresh tea from Heartsease Pansy, it's like you're tasting wintergreen. It's so beautiful. So the Heartsease Pansy was named so beautifully Heartsease because we know it to be very gently soothing and comforting to the emotional, the spiritual heart. So Heartsease I use as a tea, as a tincture, as a glycerin, as an elixir, as a flower essence. But particularly here, we make an elixir with some tincture and glycerin, and we add it into one of our formulas. It just helps to ease and soothe the heart. So it's comforting, it's soothing, it's relaxing, very gentle. Whenever we need gentleness in our lives, I say reach for Heartsease Pansy. So gentle and so soothing to the heart. And also, Heartsease Pansy has something named rutin in it. So it's actually very supportive to supporting the health of our capillaries. So again, we think of this really in relationship to the heart, the capillaries, soothing, gentle, comforting. Whenever you need gentleness in your life, think about Heartsease Pansy. So for me, I will be watching these. I'm hoping they'll be germinating in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then once they're, I don't know, a few inches tall, then we'll transplant them out into the garden in little clumps. So I'm really wishing each of you great joy and happiness as you're beginning your season of starting things from seed, and just imagining in your heart, what are you also planting besides the actual seeds? Spring is an opportunity for us to also imagine what kind of spiritually are we also planting, and that we're going to be tending and nurturing through the spring and the summer. So those are some beautiful things to be thinking about. And here on top of my seed altar is a beautiful quote by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who has written so many books and has gifted us so much wisdom in mindfulness. And he says, "Let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings. Let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings." So I'm wishing each of you a really joyful seeding season with compassion in your hearts.